Yo, what's going on, guys? We got more tariff news, more volatility, and we're ready to get trading on the SPY. So, as you guys know, and for those of you who don't know, um, the SPY is probably the best day trading vehicle out there when we have volatility in the markets, because of its great spread between its intraday options, its next day options, and how well it technically plays out. So, for those of you who trade technical analysis, it's easier for you to identify opportunities in this. And I always pride myself on being a solid technical trader. Um, I think when you spot something and it agrees with your indicators and it agrees with your setup, I think like the best traders just don't hesitate to take that position and monitor it. I think you have to think in probabilities, so especially in this market. You have to understand that this market can go against you very quickly right now. If we look at the price ranges previously, the amount of volume we've had. Um, so I wanted to quickly go over, I guess, the shorter term view. We've talked about what's causing this. If you don't know what's causing this, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll explain it to you. But I wanted to keep this video short and sweet to get to the point. Make sure everybody's level headed and notice where we're going. Um, so we had that tight range in the Bollinger Band. That means volatility is really, closing up. As you can see, when they open up, our range starts to increase. So we're starting to open up. Um, Typically, though, when we are extended outside of our Bollinger Bands, it signals an overextension. Now, if we go back and look at the last time we were overextended on the downside, um, we got quickly bought up in that oversold territory and, bounced very nicely. Now, this time there's a bit more of a fundamental catalyst going to prevent that, in my honest opinion. Um, I think we need to see some sort of things resolved. We really haven't seen anything resolved lately, across from China, Mexico, Iran. Everything has almost progressively gotten worse and not really had any progress. So, there's a bit of a scare here, and investors are taking money off the table. This is not a sell off yet. This is people taking money off the table, taking profits, and, preventing themselves from exposing extra risk to their portfolios. Now, we are extremely overextended outside of our bottom Bollinger Band on the daily chart. As you can see here, this was our candle yesterday. A very large gap down of a few points. Um, Now what we're looking at today is how we trade within this range and how we trade with the price levels I have marked here, based off previous daily charts. So the daily chart is oversold, in my opinion. I'm not going to say it can't keep continuing lower because that's certainly the case. Markets can fight oversold conditions. But if we go to the weekly, and yes, it's a mess, but please, you'll thank me later when we're in chat and we're talking about price levels. We have room to go all the way down in this 277 range. Um, and our MACD just crossed the downside. So these charts don't necessarily agree with each other yet. And that's something that is, a bit standoffish to me, where it's really going to have to be taken day by day, and the volatility is going to be very intense. So I have a few levels. If we go back into the March trading, we have this gap here at 284.19. And if you look at the highlighted, this gap got filled yesterday from 284.19 down to 282.46. This was a nice gap fill yesterday in our trading. If we go back over here, um, so I'm looking at this 284 level today because gaps and daily lows, also daily highs. If we follow my cursor over here, we have resistance on this day, May 20th, May 24th, May 25th, all affected by this 284.19 level. Now we're trading above that today pre-market. Now I'm going to look at this for some sort of oversold indicators intraday. If this can hold on the intraday chart and we go, and we hold this 284.19, say we, start trading down here, get overextended, and, I think it's a good possible entry level. I'm going to take a small position, obviously low risk, with a stop loss right below it if it decides to break. But this is a key level that's going to have to be watched at just because of the history it's had up until that level. So if this holds, we have nothing until 285.68, which is our next price level. Um, you're going to want to have this on in your mind, both on the long side and the short side. I want you guys to write that down at 284.19, strong daily gap, and key resistance, highs and lows of specific days way back. If we get above that and hold, we can trade up until this next price level here at 285.68. So we'll look at that April 2nd, May 7th, May 9th. It's been a heavily affected level as well. That's the next one on the upside. Um, May 21st, May 22nd. This 285.68 level is going to be, our next upside destination. If we can get above and hold 284.19. Now, that's not to say that buyers will show up. Are buyers going to show up? We don't know yet. So if that support breaks, we'll head right back down to our next level. And that's around this 283 range, 283.40 on the daily chart. That's a tough resistance as well. It has been. So, the key to staying in this market is knowing your levels and knowing your destination. So if that 284 breaks, we'll head down to 283.40, and then below that, 282.46, and then what is this here? 281.27. So I just want you guys to write all these down. As you can see from our chart here, this is what we're trading into from March up until June. We're back in that trading range where we bounced around a little bit. But like I said, the only real thing we could plan for is intraday trading at this point, because as of now, everybody's thinking the same thing. What the hell is this market doing? Nobody knows what this market's doing yet. It all depends who shows up. It all depends what's going on. As you can see here, this 30-minute chart is either going to pull back, consolidate, and try to open up and break to the upside, or we're going to roll over and break these lows and then test back down into this range. We have a lot of room on the downside. We also have a lot of room on the upside. That's why it's going to be a great trading day. Obviously, if you don't see a play stand out to you, don't take it. Don't force anything. Don't pay attention to the news headlines. This hourly chart's a bit overextended on the upside. Again, in rollover possibility here, but we'll have to see who shows up. Obviously, I'll talk to you guys in chat. We're gonna have to take it one candle at a time. That's more or less how this has to be attacked. And as long as you have your price levels in mind and you have an idea of where we're trading, it shouldn't be too bad. So I'll talk to you guys in chat. I'll get this video uploaded for you so we can have it up before the market opens and do our thing. So I'll talk to you guys in chat.